This is the QR code. I am right now, I have opened my account and I am going to scan the QR code. So I'm scanning right now. So moment I scan, it is going to ask me backup password. So I'm going to write backup password. Better do it along with me. Okay. So done. I have scanned it. Now I have got the okay. I have got better on phone. I have got first MFA, and this MFA is going to be. Let me post. I hope everyone is going to have their access. Okay. Even I cannot take the screenshot of this one. This is highly confidential. It is 819243. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. The application has crashed in between. Let's open once again. 432579. Let's wait for the another one. Beta, it will take off 20-30 seconds to flash the another MFA. Code one I have already entered. Okay, next one I have got. It is 869 So all this process is happening on the phone. So that is why I'm not able to show it to you. I have allocated this. Okay, you have successfully assigned a virtual MFA. Okay, this virtual MFA will be required during sign in process. Let's close this. बेटा कहां पे मैंने अप्लाई किया हुआ है? Where I have applied this? I have applied it to the root user account. So this is applied to the root user account, and let's try to log out. Let's try to log out, and let's try to log in again. So this time I should be having. So I'll be using the root account because MFA is enabled on root user. So I'll be taking an example. This is Sahil Sharma dot next password. Let's have the password. Okay. So we are able to log in successfully. Okay, so we are able to log in successfully. This is again my IAM account. In the same way, but we have set up the MFA token for the administrative account. You can visit this. You can log into the IAM user and you can set the MFA for your IAM user as well. I hope this point is clear how we have set up this IAM. You need to have the virtual device. I have used the Authy, and you can use any other Google Authenticator or any other MFA device, virtual MFA device that can provide you access to this one. So this is there. Let's have the stop the screen sharing. So we have to do all things. Sir, we have to do all these things with root account or IAM or both. Sir, we have to set up MFA with IAM or root user. Uh, See, but it all depends upon the security. So a root user is your most critical and the most important that you cannot afford to lose. So that's a point that you cannot afford to lose. You can set up MFA for any account. For see, as a root user, I can impose a condition that every IM user need to have MFA. Okay, so it is security practice. There is no hard and fast rule. ऐसा नहीं है कि करना ही करना है, ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल नहीं करना. So it is a security practice. If you want to have your account more secure, you need to set up MFA. Okay, this is what we have been discussing, and it is recommended. Otherwise, if you'll ask my opinion, it is most of the time it is recommended in the IT companies that every user should activate the MFA so that they. Sir, I'm not able to log in with IM user. Ritu, better you might be making a mistake. So let me share the screen, entire one. So what error you are facing? Ritu, you can share the screen better and show it to me what you are getting. You can share the screen. Okay. Yes. Your authentication information is incorrect. Please try again. Okay. So, beta, is it the password that you are trying to enter? Okay. Whether you have created it right now, is it the automatic password created or you have manually created? Same thing was happening to me because last time मैंने जो automatically password create किया था, try to create it manually. No, Ritu, we are not able to hear you. Manual. Uh, but I've shown it to you. Go to the management console. So, okay. I'll show it once again. Those of you are not able to do it. So let me do it. I'm going to do. Go to the management console. Go to your administrative account. Go to your user, whatever user for you want to create for. Okay. So suppose if I add MFA for root user. Okay. This is user one. I have demo user, and for demo user I have already security credential and assigned MFA device for my this root user. I have this one, applicable demo user, and okay, this MFA device is already there. No, either you can remove it or you can sync this. Let's move to our this console and try to log in. 12-digit account number. Okay, I don't want to do this one. So let's move this. So if you want to sign it using console, but I always try to copy this link. So console signing HTTP, this is the user ID already embedded in this link. So simply copy this link and open in the different browser. So let me open it here. So this is going to be my IM username. This is demo user one. Password that I have set is, क्या था मैं खुद भूल गया. Okay, I hope this works. Yes. Now, but can you say this for IAM user? Now I'm getting this multi-factor authentication because for IAM user, I have set up this. Now I'm going to open the application. I'm going to open the application Authy on my phone. Okay, I have got, see, I have got the message. So this is 132.291.291. I've entered this, click on submit, and you are able to successfully log in. So this is how better you can enable. I have applied it to the IAM user. The same thing better you can do it. You can apply it to the this root user as well. So this is how you need to apply it. Okay. I'll keep it as only in this IAM. Now please tell me, let's have a let's have a common question. Let's have a common question. Better tell me, if I'll move this one, here also I can create the users. This is the administrator account. This is the administrator account. So here I can, it is okay, I can create the users from here. But when I move to my IAM dashboard, this is the user. Can I create user from IAM? Can I create a user from IAM? Let's let me tell me an answer for this one. Sir, why didn't this MFA show when you logged in with root user last time? Beta, Kiran, I have created this MFA for demo user one. So demo user one is my IAM user. Okay, I have not created, as of now, I have not created for root user. So that is why it is not showing for root user. But when I'll be logging it for IAM user, it is asking for MFA. So I created it. Can you please repeat what to do after logging into IAM user? Okay. So my question, simple question is, don't get confused, because the things are going to be little bit tricky from this point. I'm saying that if I enter to, this is what account, this is what you need to have a clear distinction. ये मेरा बेटा root account है. This is administrator. I can create a add user. I can click on this and I can create a new user. Fair enough. No problem up to this point. My question is, if I'll not create a user here, if I'll move to this account, this is what? This is demo user one. This is क्या लिखा होगा बेटा, कौन सा अकाउंट है ये? This is IAM account. Can I create a user from here? एक अकाउंट से अंदर? Yes, I can create it from here as well. How? This is the question. Are you able to understand my question? Kranti is saying yes, we can create under IAM account. But how? Why? Suppose, see, I'll give you an example. You study in a university. University is having an account. You can see administrator account from which you can create a new UMS account. Okay, you are an IMF user. Can you create one more user from your account? Can a UMS user like you, as a student, you are having a UMS account? Can you create another account from your account? No. But why I am able to create? But why I am able to create another user from IAM user? देखो बेटा, सिंपल सी बात है, अगर तो मैं रूट यूजर से क्रिएट करता देन इट इज फेयर एनफ, आई कैन क्रिएट इट फ्रॉम यूजर. बट यहां पे तो मैं IAM यूजर, जो कि खुद अपने आप में यूजर है, उसके अकाउंट में से भी यूजर क्रिएट कर पा रहा हूं. हाउ? व्हाई? Why I'm able to create the user? Administrators has given to the user, maybe. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. This is what I was checking. But how aware you are when we were discussing the policies. Now let me move back to this one. But this is demo user one, and in demo user one, the policies that are applicable is the administrative access I have given. I have given. Can you see here? But can you see this one? So this is my demo user one. You will see here, this is demo user one. And what access I have given to demo user one? I have given access to administrator. Administrator access is given. Now, if I'll remove the, okay, add permissions, existing policies directly. Let's apply any other one. Let's have connect read only. Okay, I'm going to apply this one. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Now what I have done, but I have done, I have added two policies name. One is a random policy. I have picked up Alexa for business read only access, and one is the administrative. If I'm going to remove this administrative policy, I will not be able to create a new user from here. Okay, I'll not be able to create a new user from here. Let's try to do this one. Are you sure you want to delete the administrative access from demo user one? Detach this policy. Okay, so let's refresh this one. But what you see here, what you see here now, I have, this is, you can see this is IAM account. IAM account. Earlier I used to have a create user. Now when I click on this user, you see you need permissions. You do not have the permission required to perform this operation. Ask your administrator to add permission. So are you able to, but whatever point I'm trying to make here, are you able to understand this? मैंने administrative access remove करके कोई और read only access I have provided, and this time when I visit to my IAM account, I am not able to add new user because the IAM user does not have this capability that it can add new user. So earlier I used to have this administrative access. That's why I was able to have this. Let's move back and make the things correct like it used to be. So at add permissions, attach existing policy, and this time I'm going to attach this one, administrative access. Next for review, managed policy, add permissions. No problem up to this point. Administrative, remove the Alexa business read only, not required, detach it from user one. So it is done. Okay, now this is done. Let's move to the previous one, refresh the page, and the magic is done. So you can add the user from here. You can have the multiple user. Now you will understand, Peter, your demo user one, this IAM user, this is having all the rights, all the permissions. बेटा जो permissions आपके पास root user के पास है, same permission आपके पास demo user one के पास भी है. Now from this point onward in this entire course, whatever I want to change, I can either do it from the root user or I can do it from the IAM user, because मेरा ये जो IAM user है, this is already having the administrative access. Okay, so I have provided here the administrative access, so you can use any of the account for this one. Generally in organization, beta, they try to create a copy of the root user like I have created as a demo user one. Now whatever processing, permission giving, related billings, everything is required, they try to perform it using the IAM user, not from the root user. रूट यूजर को हमेशा बेटा बैकअप के लिए रखा जाता है इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग इट ऑन डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज. ठीक, सो दिस इज डन. MFA is done. I hope you have understood the concept of MFA is done. How can you use the AWS? So to assess the, you need to have three options: AWS management. Okay, assess AWS. This is another topic that we are going to start. So we are going to start how we can assess the AWS. AWS को बेटा assess करने के there are three ways. Let me move back to this one. Stop the screen share. Okay, let's come to the whiteboard. I hope this whiteboard is visible to you. To assess AWS, now there are three different ways. ठीक है, AWS को बेटा आप तीन तरीके से you can assess this one. First way is the most commonly, most easiest one that we are already using, जिसका नाम है मैनेजमेंट कंसोल. ये है मैनेजमेंट कंसोल. ये बहुत इजी होता है and we have already been using this. And how does management console look like? Beta, jahan pe we have been doing everything up to now, this is the management console. So one way to assess the AWS is using the management console. Second way is using the CLI. CLI is command line interface. So Windows के बेटा command line से you can assess AWS, और you can assess AWS from the Mac, जो आपके पास command line होगा वहां से कर सकते हो, लिनक्स के ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का जो कमांड लाइन होगा, वॉट एवर कमांड लाइन इंटरफेस यू हैव फॉर द लिनक्स एज वेल, you can access it from there as well. So whatever operating system you have, by executing few commands, you can access this AWS. This is the second way. Third way is using this SDK. So development tools, using the development tools you can have this. Okay, so using this software development kit, that's the third point, SDK, using the SDK. Now where do you use this SDK? Where do you use this SDK? Like for example, suppose beta I am writing a piece of code. ठीक है, एक piece of code है, suppose I have executed few lines, then I need to fetch few data from AWS. So यहाँ पे बेटा मैं वो code लिखूंगा, I'm going to write this piece of code here, then I'm going to write the another lines of code. So this piece of code that I'm writing here within the SDK, this is capable enough to log in to AWS and fetch the information from here. Okay, तो जितने भी आपके पास applications हैं बेटा, they generally use the SDK. So they have few of the codes that they need to embed into their hardware codes. Whatever application codes they are writing, they will simply be writing this piece of code related to AWS into their in their code part, and this is capable of accessing the AWS. Okay, तो तीन तरीके से आप assess कर सकते हो. The easiest one is management console, then using the command line interface of any of the operating system that you're using, and this is for the developers that are developing any application from which they either need to get the data from the cloud or they need to store the data from to the cloud. They use the SDKs for this storing purpose. Okay, so let's move back to the point. Let me share the screen once again. I hope you are understanding. But am I teaching too fast or too slow? Are you able to get this? See, at any given point of time, if you want to repeat me anything, I can do that as well. Are you able to understand this? I'm going to share the screen. Okay. Now, how users can access AWS? There are three ways given: 1, 2, and 3. तीनों ways हमने discuss कर लिया. To access AWS, you have three options. AWS Management Console, protected by, किसके साथ protect कर सकते हैं? It is protected by password and MFA. This portion we have already studied. Second one is AWS Command Line Interface, CLI, protected by access keys. ये बेटा हमारा next जो हम execute करने वाले, the next thing that we are going to execute is access keys. Okay. And the third one is software development case, SDK, for all the developers. They use to access AWS, they use SDK kit for code protected by the access keys. Now what you can conclude from here, कि whenever you are going to use the management console, you have password with you and you have MFA with you to log in. But if you are using command line interface or SDK, but how you will be able to log in? For that you need to have the access keys. तो access keys बहुत important है. I'll show you how to create the access keys and how these access keys can log in. Okay, so access keys are generated through the AWS Management Console. So AWS Management Console say we can create this access keys. User manage their own access keys. Like every user manage their own password, every IAM user needs to manage their own access keys. If within the organization they are going to use the what we call this command line interface. If any person wants to execute using command line interface, they need to manage, they need to secretly, they need to store their own access keys. And but this is not required to say कि access keys are confidential like your password, so you need to keep this very secretive. Okay, access keys are secret just like password, did not share them. So access key आपका username होगा बेटा, this refer to your username. Secret access key is your password. Access key ID username होता है, access key होता है आपके पास password. So this is what we will be creating now. Now this is but example is given, access key, and access key is there, created time is there, status is active, and this is given access ID. This is by the way randomly generated. ये जो आपके पास होती है randomly generate होती है, as key ID is this one, you will be writing this in the command line interface, and secret access key, this is going to be the password randomly generated. So this is the randomly generated password. Okay, it is written, remember, don't share your access keys. We are not supposed to share our access keys, it is highly confidential. ठीक, so let's move back and try to create the access key. Okay, so let me stop the screen share. Let's move to our account. Give me a second. Okay, so this is administrator, this is my IM user. Let me share the screen. But I'm going to move to my IAM user and we'll try to create the access key for my IAM demo user 1. Okay, so demo, or should I create the another user? So let's try to create the एक और यूजर क्रिएट कर लेते हैं. Let's not do this. Now select AWS credential type, but either you can use the access key here or you can use the password. रहने दो बेटा, कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे, पुराने में करते हैं. Let's execute here. So demo user 1, let's click on this one, demo users 1, and you will see here. So in this, you will see here, create access key. Can you see, but can you read this? This is demo user 1. This is my IAM user. It is written, use access key to make a programmatic calls to AWS from the AWS command line interface, tools for PowerShell, AWS SDK, or direct AWS API calls. You can use the maximum 2 access keys, active or inactive at a time. For one account, you can create the 2 keys at the same time. So for this is for my demo user 1, let's try to create the access key. So create one. Warning, see, but never post your secret access key on the public platform such as GitHub. It can compromise your account security. Okay, this is the only time, this is very important, this is the only time that your secret access key can be viewed or downloaded. इसका मतलब बेटा, when I am going to create my access key, I need to download it immediately, because once it is created, you will never able be see it back. तो वापस आपको वो कभी नहीं दिखेगी. इसका मतलब जैसे ही आप ये क्रिएट करते हैं, द मोमेंट यू क्रिएट इट, immediately you need to download it so that you can use it for the future purposes in the command line interface or SDKs. Okay, you cannot, it is clearly written, you cannot recover them later. However, you can create new access keys at any time. Okay, so this is my access key already created. So download CSV file, let me do it. So download is done. So I have downloaded the file, and this is my ID, this is beta ID, and which will be my username, and secret SSK, this is going to be my the password. Okay, I'll not show it. It will be the complete this much duration. This is going to be a secret SS key. I'm not going to show this just for the secret. और अच्छा देख ही लो मैंने क्या ही करना इसमें. I'm going to delete this user by the way later on, so you cannot do it. So this is going to be my the secret SS key. Okay, you might have seen this. ठीक. So let's close this one. Secret SS key is created, and let's move to the downloads. The CSV file. Let's open the SS key. So SS key is there, and you'll see key is there, and the user ID and password, both of them I have downloaded into my Excel file. So this is how. Don't save this one. So this is how you can create beta the SS key. And where do we see this is an active SS key? This is an active. Make this inactive. Okay, I'm going to delete this. SS key last you never demo user deactivate this SS key. SS key is deactivated, and SS key ID in the next input field. अच्छा डालना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे input field. चलो, we'll do it later on. This is inactive. Okay, so this is how beta you can create the SS keys, and using the command line interface, using the command line interface, you can log in using this key ID and key value. So both the things you can do. Let me see if I have that commands. Okay, so this is done. So beta up to now we have discussed the assess keys. Now the another point is the not only this using I have discussed 3 points. What are those 3 points? Those 3 points are AWS can be assessed using the management console, the CLI, and the SDKs. Now this CLI, if you do not prefer using the CLI from the operating system, but a CLI is also present in the management console. लिसन केयरफुली आई एम सेइंग एक तो है मैनेजमेंट कंसोल, एक है आपका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का कमांड लाइन इंटरफेस, एक है एसडीके. नाउ दिस कमांड लाइन इंटरफेस, इफ यू डोंट वांट टू यूज दिस कमांड लाइन इंटरफेस फॉर द ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, you can use this within the management console. Okay, so let's try to see where I have this command line interface in the management console. Let's move to our, okay, this is not, this is demo user. Okay, so let's move back here, and for this account as well, let's, for IM user also, let's move back here. Okay, so if you'll see, but I have moved to the home page of both the accounts. This is my administrator account. See, can you see this symbol here at the top? So this is called as the cloud shell, but this is the command line interface within the cloud. See, AWS, can you see this? Can you see this? UA East, do not show me this again, close. So this is the creating an environment. You will see here AWS Cloud Shell. So this is the command line interface within the AWS. So I have opened this for the administrative account. Similarly, I can go to the home page for the IAM user. You can click here and you can open it for the IAM user. Now, what are the benefits that you can have here? But what are the benefits of using this one apart from the normal command line interface? There are a lot of benefits here. The benefits can be, you can have the split into rows. It is not enabled. Okay, this is creating an environment. Okay, preparing your terminal. See, cloud shell user, this is done. Okay, now actions, you can split into 2 rows. So this is another command line, this is another command line. So parallelly, if you want to work, so split into columns. So this is one of the command line, one instance of the command line. This is the another instance of command line. This is the another instance of command line. So parallelly, multiple command line interfaces, you can open it here. So if you want to upload any file, if you want to download any file, so you can do it from this console itself. यहाँ पे आपको, if you want to upload any or download any file, you can do it. Okay, so let's move delete. Okay, I'm going to move back to this one. Administrator. Are you able to understand? Let's delete this as well. Move to home screen.
So it is showing that unable to create cloud shell.
Beta, where you are, Saurabh, share the screen and show it to me, beta. It will be better if I can see that.
Yes, sir.
Unable to start the environment to retry, refresh the browser or restart the selecting action, restart AWS
Sir,
Cloud
I
Shell.
have did, done it.
This is your root account.
Yes, sir.
Environment to retry, refresh the browser or restart selecting action, restart AWS Cloud Shell. बेटा एक बार ना साइन आउट करके साइन इन दोबारा करो और ट्राई टू ओपन इन एन इनकॉग्निटो. हो
Yes.
जाएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मेरे साथ भी होता है ऐसा ही. दिस हैपेंस. अच्छा बेटा, नॉर्थ वर्जीनिया लिखा हुआ ना जहाँ पे रीजन सिलेक्टेड है, चेंज
Yes.
द रीजन. इट माइट नॉट बी वर्किंग इन दैट रीजन. डन. oops, unable to start environment to restart. mm, Restart AWS Cloud Shell. Better go to actions. Go to actions and delete this. Select the last option. Deletes cloud side home directory. Delete लिखो उसके ऊपर, delete लिखो. अच्छा. चलो, I'll see that. Try to open it. एक बार try करना इसको incognito पे open करने के लिए. Otherwise, I'll try to find the solution why this comes. होता है ऐसा. This is not a very difficult one.
Yes.
This happens a lot of times, but this works in some other cases. Same error, sir. It's working. Not working still.
Yes, sir.
But go to actions. अच्छा, start ही नहीं हुआ अभी. Restart. Okay. Don't worry. I'll try to identify कि कहाँ दिक्कत है.
Yes.
and we'll come back to you. I'll update you in WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we are going to discuss further. Okay. So we have discussed up to now AWS command line interfaces we have seen, and the next thing is the roles and the services. Okay. So we have the common roles for the instances, like we can have the EC2 instance role, Lambda function role, roles for the cloud formation can be there. Now, why the roles are important? Because roles are going to define that a user can perform which activity. Okay, that role. If I'm going to define the role, see, it is different. Roles and services, these both other things are going to be confusing, but yet these are going to be different. Some AWS services will need to perform actions on your behalf. Okay, कुछ ऐसे services are that are going to perform some of the actions on their behalf, so they need to be assigned some of the roles. Okay, and to do so, we'll have the permissions and the services provided to the IAM users. Now, for that, so we need to have the reports, we can have the credentials report and the assess advisor account level report or the user level report. Different types of reports can be there. Okay, then this is basically for the IAM. Next thing we need to start is beta EC2. Next service that we are going to start is EC2. Okay, let me share the screen. Done. So we are going to start with one of the very common one, that is going to be EC2 service. EC2 is going to be one of the most commonly used service in the cloud. What is EC2? Have you heard this term before? Beta, can anyone tell me what is EC2? What is EC2? Don't know. Have you heard this before? EC2. Beta, EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. C2, because C दो बार आ रहा है, तो C2 is written Elastic Compute Cloud. But the word indicates elastic compute cloud means that you can have the computational चीजें जो आप cloud पे perform करना चाहते हैं, like execution can be there. You can create the virtual machines, you can create the instances, you can launch the instances. So these are all things can be done using the EC2. Is one of the most popular offering of any of the cloud. Basically for the AWS, the most important services is EC2. फुल फॉर्म इज इलास्टिक कंप्यूट क्लाउड. एंड कौन सी सर्विस आ रहा है बेटा, हमने सब में थ्योरेटिकल पोर्शन में वी हैव स्टडीड इन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एज अ सर्विस, प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस, सो वो सारी चीजें पड़ी हुई हैं. सो EC2 comes under infrastructure as a service. So we are trying to virtually create a machines, virtual machines. Basically आप understand कर लो, we are trying to create an instances or we are trying to create the virtual machine. So EC2 is a compute cloud. Compute cloud will be the meaning of compute cloud is I will be creating the computing machines. So I'll be having operating system, I'll be deciding on RAM, I'll be deciding on the physical memory, I'll be deciding on all these things before creation of the elastic compute cloud. Okay, now basically this elastic compute cloud, these are renting virtual machines. What this is going to do, these are going to rent the, okay, just hold on, let me share this one. So EC2, we are going to start with the EC2. So EC2 is the most popular AWS offering. This is what we have discussed. Elastic Load Compound. It falls under the infrastructure as a service. Mainly, beta EC2 offers what are the services offered? it is going to rent the virtual machines. So जितनी भी आपके पास virtual machines, if you need to have 50, 100, 1000, 10,000 virtual machines that you want to rent, you can have this. Now, storing data on virtual machines, you want to install operating systems, you want to install your critical data, if you want to execute some of the pre-processing or the processing, post-processing things, you can store the data onto the virtual machines. You can distribute the load across the machines. Okay, if you have multiple loads, you can distribute that, and you can scale the services. So अगर आपको बेटा virtual machines चाहिए, so it is elastic cloud compute. Storing data on virtual device, this forms under the elastic. EBS stands for elastic beanstalk. EBS stands for elastic beanstalk. Distribute load balancing, elastic load balancer. Okay, so in the same way, all these are going to be the services that are providing. Knowing EC2 is the fundamental to understand how cloud works. कोई आपसे पूछता है कि cloud कैसे काम करता है बेटा, so if you know how EC2 is going to work, you can very well explain anyone that how cloud is going to work. So EC2 is one of the very important services inside this AWS cloud. Okay, so the next one is going to be, after this one, let's discuss few more important points before directly we move on to the creation of the virtual machines. But the next topic we'll be executing is creation of virtual machines. But before that, let's have an idea that how the sizing configuration options that are available to us. So read this once. एक बार बेटा इसको read करो. Okay. So, but I hope you might have read this sizing configuration option. So EC2 virtual machines that we are going to create just now, after reading this, we are going to create the virtual machines. Now for that virtual machines, आप क्या क्या कर सकते हैं? Now that virtual machines can run Linux operating system, it can run Windows operating system, it can run Mac operating system. Virtual machines. The virtual machine can have the compute power and cores. कि कितने 2 core, dual core, quad core, octa cores, how many cores of processing you want in that virtual machines, that you can decide. How much RAM you want to allocate, 2 GB, 4, 8, 16, 32, कितनी RAM आपको बेटा allocate करनी है for virtual machine, you can decide that as well. Now network and the hardware, if you want to attach instant store, you can attach the storage space for EBS and EFS, file storage and beanstalk. So इसमें से बेटा one of them is going to be paid and one of them is going to be free. So हम जब when we are going to create this virtual machines, so one of them is going to be high speed and it is going to be paid, and another one is the low speed and that is going to be free of cost, and we'll be using that one. हार्डवेयर आप कौन सा EC2 इंस्टेंस, नेटवर्क कार्ड बेटा, स्पीड ऑफ द कार्ड, कितनी स्पीड आपको नेटवर्क कार्ड की चाहिए, वेदर यू वांट टू हैव अ पब्लिक आईपी एड्रेस और वेदर यू आर सेटिस्फाइड विद द प्राइवेट आईपी एड्रेस, दैट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. firewall rules, security groups that we need to decide, and of course we can write the code that we want to bootstrap. Okay, bootstrap code we can write it. Bootstrap kya hota hai? So the code that execute only for once when the virtual machine is going to start. Okay, so suppose कोई ऐसी thing है, there is some of the work that you want to do when the virtual machine is going to start. Like suppose a machine starts and I want to get the list of user. Suppose when I start the virtual machine, it automatically sends a text message to people, so that all the tasks that you want to perform when the virtual machine is going to start, okay, that task we call it as a bootstrap. So you can write the bootstrap script, you can configure the first launch, and you can have the data. So these are the pretty much things that you can perform while creation of the EC2 instance. Okay, the next one is EC2 user data. Okay, मेरे को एक चीज आपको दिखानी है. Yes, हाँ. So when beta instance types, EC2 instance type, this is important to see. Why is it important? Because when you'll be creating the beta instances, you'll see something written like 5 m5.2x large. So this is the representation. M is the instance class, 5 is the generation. So every now and then they are going to update the generation. So M class में बेटा अभी 5th generation है, हो सकता है कि after 2 months it comes M6 generation or M7 generation. So as they are going to modify the generations, so they are going to change it. So there have the generation. AWS improves them over time. So 2x large is the size within the instance class. So 2x large is the larger instance. So in the same way, beta m5.2x large, this is the paid instance. Okay, this is the paid instance. So in the same way, we are going to have the free instances also that we are going to see right now. Just let me Google to see AWS instances types. Amazon EC2 instances types. Click on this one just to see how many different types of instances are there. But the same thing, if I'll move on to the next slide, you will see. So the same slide screenshot has been taken here, and the same thing when you move to the AWS website, you can see. So general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computed. अगर आपका बेटा बिजनेस सिर्फ स्टोरेज का है, स्टोरेज ऑप्टिमाइज्ड, इंस्टेंस फीचर्स. So these are the different purpose of the instances that you can create. Let's move on to the general purpose instance. General purpose is to provide the balance of the compute. ये बेटा general purpose provides the balance of compute, memory, networking, resources. So हर चीज का एक balance given है. So it is given if you use this instance. So these are the family or the classes instance T4G, T3, T3A, T2, M6G. तो ये बेटा इसका nomenclature है. Okay. So if you use this, it uses the Intel Core i7 processor, 6 physical, 12 logical cores, 32 gigabyte of memory, and this how this is going to be represented. So it is also given. Similarly, if you'll see M5 class, so M5 class is the largest generation of the general purpose instances powered by Intel Xeon. This a processor is given. Up to this processor, up to 25 GB of network bandwidth is given. So see, these are the instances are given. So instances, M5 large, number of cores is CPUs 2, and if you will see M5 12x large, number of CPUs 48. So memory is going to gradually increase. Instance storage, EBS means the slow storage, elastic beanstalk, these are storage. And from here M5D large, you will see 1 into 7.5. This is SSD storage, the faster storage options are available to you. And this is the bandwidth up to 10 GB per second, bandwidth is given. So EBS bandwidth is, so that means lot of instances are there, lot of instances, lot of the outputs are there, that as per your requirement you can choose any of the instance here.
Sir, these all are for making server.
Sorry.
Means, sir, the instances which are given there,
Mhm.
these are for making servers.
Yes,
Means
but these are, see,
configuration.
this falls under the category of infrastructure. Okay, so as an infrastructure, of course, you can launch the servers. This EC2 is the compute. Now, if you want to compute anything, if you want to deploy your code onto the cloud and it is going to execute something for you, and obviously you need to have the server. So virtual machines is going to execute the servers itself. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are trying to understand different classes for creation of the virtual machine. That virtual machine that I'll be creating, उसके अंदर हम servers run करेंगे. ठीक है? So this is directly not running the servers. This is the machines classification of the different virtual machines, which internally is going to, of course, run the servers, which is going to compute something. Okay. So yeah, this is what we are mentioning. Greater for the adversity workload, such web servers, code repositories, compute memory and networking के बीच में you need to decide which is the right one. In the course we will be using, see, in this course, this is important. In this course we will be using T2.micro. T is the instance, 2 is the generation, and micro is the smallest type because it is free of cost, which is a general purpose EC2 instance. Okay, so we are going to use T2 micro. Let me show it to you. Let's move to Google. T2, कहाँ गया बेटा T2? ये है T2. Can you see this T2? Move to T2 and you will see T2 nano or T2 micro. This is the one that we are going to use. T2 micro. Okay, T2 micro, number of CPU कितने होंगे? 1. Now CPU are 6. Memory कितनी होगी? 1 GB of mem. Storage EBS only. Networking preferences, this will be low to moderate. Okay, all instances have the following specs. Intel का AVT, beta Intel Turbo, these are going to processor. Nano, micro, small, these are going to a scalable processor. Okay, use cases, and these are going to be the free one. T2 micro is going to be T2 micro. This is the free one and I'm going to use only this one. But I keep this thing in mind. You use only that particular instance that is free of cost. इसके अलावा अगर आप कोई भी use करते हैं, that are going to be the chargeable. It is already written T2 micro only if configured as a T2 unlimited. Charges may apply if average CPU utilization exceeds the baselines of the instance. Okay, so T2 micro is the free of cost, but if it is T2 micro is used unlimited, so it may charges may apply. So we need to be very cautious. We need to keep in mind while we are going to use this. I'm going to close this one and let's move to the this one. Done. Okay, let's move to the, this is show time. Let's move over to the management console and let's try to create an EC2 instance. So the moment I type EC2, you will see image builder, compute optimization, firewall manager, and lot of other options are going to open. But as of now, I just need to focus on the EC2 dashboard. Okay, yeah, EC2 instances. Let's first of all visit the EC2 dashboard. Okay, so you will see this is going to be our EC2 dashboard, and you automatically on this left side you will see there are different instances. You can create different types of instances that if you want to see. Okay, so all the options that are required are available there. And launch templates, so already existing templates are there that are very quick. You can use this. But the magic of this EC2 is virtual machine. विद इन फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेटिंग्स बेटा मैं अपना काम वर्चुअल मशीन क्लाउड के ऊपर लॉन्च कर सकता हूं. Otherwise, the yesterday also I've told you, if you think you want to have the machine running for the execution, it is very time consuming process if you are doing it on the offline way. So this is easy size, configure, deploy, micro. Okay, leave this, not required. Okay, so default VPC has supported platforms. Launch instance, this service operating Asia Pacific. Okay, migrate secure, migrate server, identifier. Okay, so first of all I'll try to create the instance. Okay, let's try to click on the instance. I'm not going to use any of the template. I'm going to create it from the scratch. ठीक है, हम scratch से हम लोग इसको कर सकते हैं. Otherwise there's an instance, templates are there, launch templates, you can have this. So launch instance के लिए first of all we need to have the instance. How to launch an instance? Name the tag uh, my first instance. Let's give it the name. What operating system you want to have it? Okay, better I'll keep everything as a default, and because it is written very clearly, better this is the point where you people might get trapped. यहाँ पे कुछ change नहीं करना. I want to keep it as free as possible. Quick start. It is going to use Amazon Linux operating system. Let it be as it is. Why? Because it is written Amazon Linux 2 AMI kernel. This is free tier eligible. So when you log in here, so you will see there are a lot of operating systems. Are there, so you can use anyone, but we are going to limit it to the default. So default is because it is a free tier eligible. So I want to, on my virtual machine that I'm going to create, my first instance I'm going to create, so I'll be using this only. Otherwise you can use any of the operating system. You will see Mac operating system, source operating system, Red Hat, Windows, Ubuntu, everything is present here. Architecture, so this is 64-bit. Keep it as it is, nothing is going to change. Now instance type, I have already shown you onto the website, there are different instance type. So we are going to use T2 micro only, and family is T2, number of CPU is 1, and memory is 1 GB. Okay, and this is the free tier eligible, so I'm going to use this one only. So rest, it is not written anywhere, beta kahin pe bhi koi और free eligible nahi hai. So for the educational purposes only T2 micro is there, so I have written. So if you want to compare the instances, click on compare. You will find the performances. So I've clicked on compare. So beta T2 micro is there, and all the instances are there up to as per the usage. So as per the requirement of your organization, you can choose anyone. I'm going to simply cancel this. Okay, so everything is by default. Jaisa tha beta, I have just named it my first instance, default operating system, and default architecture, default family type, instance type is T2 micro, and key pair required. You can use the key pair securely connect to the first instance. Okay, and ensure that you have access to a selected key pair before you launch the instance. Okay, so if you have already key pair, proceed without a key pair, not recommended. Or create a, as of now let's proceed without creation of this one, default value. Then you can have the network settings. I'm not going to change anything, just open it and let's see this, what network settings do I have. So in network settings, VPC ka beta subnet no preferences, auto sign public IP is enabled, create a security group and select the existing security. So you can select the existing security group. So if, while creation of the IAM user, if you have created a security group, you can click on this and you can check it. Okay, security group SSH protocol is there, TCP is there, and 0000.00 means better the network can flow from anywhere to anywhere. So no IP address is mentioned, from anywhere to anywhere. That means this is the open port. So port range, on what port it is going to work. So port range is going to be 22 port ke sath beta it is going to work. Okay, so configure storage, free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB EBS for magnetic storage. So 30 GB of EBS मिल सकता है free tier को. So if you want to add new volume, you can do that. So otherwise keep it pretty much the default one. Don't change anything in this one. Okay, so I have kept it everything as a default. Okay, I've kept everything as a default. Now let's have the summary. Number of instances 1, Linux 2 kernel, virtual type T2 micro, firewall new security group is automatically created, or if you have created security group already, you can use that. Storage volume 8 GB, free tier. In your first year includes 750 hours of T2 micro. Okay, how much duration you can use this 750 hours? But that is why I'm saying when you will be closing the account, you need to close every instance that you'll be using, because the moment it jumps from 750 hours, जैसे आपका चाहे वो फ्री वाला है, चाहे वो T2 micro, when the moment it jumps 750 hours से ज्यादा होगा, so even your T2 is going to have the charges. Okay, so regions in which T2 micro is unavailable, instance uses T3 micro. Okay, can be used. ठीक है, launch the instance, click on the launch one, so you can see launching instance, and immediately success is there. View all instances, and let's refresh once. बेटा instance को refresh कर लेते हैं. So can you see this? My first instance state is pending. It takes roughly 10 to 20 seconds for launching an instance. Okay, now you can see this instance is running. This my first instance is instance id is created, it is up and running. Instance type is T2 micro, free of cost, no problem in this one. No alarms are set. Availability zone is AP South, so because we are in Mumbai region is AP South 1, so it has automatically fetched it. Public v4 is there, and private elastic IP address, VP monitored, security groups, and all the information is present here. Okay, now let's click on the instance. But are you able to see this? I have not observed any movement. Let me move.
Sir, we have to make the key pair name.
Yes, but see, we need to make a key pair name that needs to be unique. Okay, we can make the key pair. Are you able to see this better? Are you able to understand EC2? Okay, let's move back to the instance. We have created an instance, so beta we'll end up today's lecture on my instance only. हम इससे ज्यादा और अच्छा कल को हम लोग क्या करेंगे, हम कल को बेटा विल ट्राई टू रन अ वेबसाइट ऑन दिस इंस्टेंस. ये जो मैंने वर्चुअल मशीन क्रिएट की है, विल ट्राई टू एग्जीक्यूट सम ऑफ द पेजेस. हम कुछ एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे इस इंस्टेंस के ऊपर, बट दैट विल डू इन द यस्टरडेज क्लास. टुडे विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट फॉर दिस इंस्टेंस व्हाट आर द थिंग्स, डिटेल्स, इंस्टेंस आईडी, एड्रेसेस, वीपीसी आईडी, सबनेट, प्लेटफॉर्म कौन सा, लिनक्स है, then monitoring disabled, all the important information is present. Under security, this is launch wizard. By default security group is applicable, so when you click on this by default security group SG, this security is launch wizard. As I have not applied any security from my end, so by default this security group is provided. Okay, so let's move back to EC2 instances. My first instance, close this. Okay, so this is done. Instance state is running. Public IP address, private IP. Now you need to tomorrow this thing is very important. Public IP address and private IP address, these are the two IP addresses. But a public IP address that I'll be using for the external world. Suppose Google के लिए या किसी और लोगों को use करना है, I'll be providing the public IP address. Private IP address will be used within the instance or within the cloud. So within the cloud, if first instance want to communicate with the second instance, suppose there are 100 of instances created and your instances want to communicate with each other, but they will not be using the public IP address. In that case, they will be using the private IP address. Okay, so for the communication of within the cloud, they'll use the private IP address. Then private DNS name is okay. We'll discuss pretty much this point. Upcoming class. Security के लिए हो गया. Networking. This is the networking. Storage and EBS storage, जो free वाला storage है, वो है यहाँ पे. And devices, DEV, XVA, volume is 8 GB. Okay, and everything that we want is present here. Status check running, monitoring, you can monitor, and the tags, if key value name, my first instance key value, the tags we already have. You can use this while launching an instance. You can create your own key value pair tags you can generate. Okay, so this is pretty much the task for the today. But if you have last 10 minutes are there, if you have any of the doubt, you can ask me the question. Other rest of the things we'll discuss in our upcoming session. So let me move back and stop the screen share. Acha, Vishal is asking how we can stop the, okay, let me share again. Better stop kar hi dete. I'm not going to run this instance. Otherwise, after the class I am anyway going to close this instance. So if you want to close this, you go to the actions and instance state. See, this is the instance state. You can stop the instance. Okay, now if you will stop the instance, beta, it will still be there. आपने जो running live instance थी, आपने उसको stop कर दिया. It is still stopping. It will take few seconds to stop. Let's wait for it to stop. ठीक है. Once it is stopped completely, then okay. Stopping. Once it is stopped, click on this. Now, okay. Now it has changed to stopped, but it was stopping and now it has changed to stop. When the instance is going to stop, then you can click on the terminate instance. Okay. Terminate instance, you can terminate. I'm going to terminate the instance, successfully terminated. So you will observe shutting down is written. So it is going to remove from here. Shutting down T2 micro, my first instance. So state is terminated. Shutting down. Now it is terminated. ठीक है जी? This is terminated. I hope you are able to see this. So, but any doubt anywhere? No, sir. Was today session recorded? But I don't want to burden single student for recording everyday lectures. See, this is totally your